Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we take a look at some upcoming races in Hong Kong and try to isolate an angle to the race that might lead us to the winner. Well, racing on Sunday at Sha Tin, 11 races, and the first one we're going to take a look at is race 7, where our winning factor is the backup. Now this is a Class 3, 1800 metres, and like so many Class 3 races at the moment, this is chock full of 4-year-olds who are looking to put out a case for the big 4-year-old races coming up, including the Derby. And there are quite a few chances. Now the older horses here, they're represented by Simple Hedge and an interesting runner having his first start since a change of trainer to David Eustace, that's Packing Hurricane. But the 4-year-olds are led by Casper Found's trained Low Rider, Francis Loy's Steps Ahead, Midori Giant gets blinkers first time, and there will be fans of other runners like Mark Wynn and Naval Force dropping in grade. But I want to concentrate most on Steps Ahead and Low Rider, both horses who've had their share of hard luck tales, and certainly, first of all, Steps Ahead was extremely unlucky when caught very wide last start, so we're going to go back 2 starts ago to get a better guide on him. So this is race 317. Gate 14, yellow and red colours, Steps Ahead begins well, but you can see Vincent Ho doesn't want to go forward on the horse. First half of the race is on the slow side, but Ho wants to relax his horse wide with some cover, and he does that, but he has to go back a long way to achieve it. Now the flip side of a slow first half means the pace picks up in the second half. And now Steps Ahead needs to make up a lot of ground during that section, and that's not easy. As you can see in the straight, he does quicken up well, makes a lot of ground fast, but it's just too hard to sustain it, and Huge Wave, who'd had a softer run closer to the lead, just holds him out. Oh, and incidentally, that's the Classic Mile winner, My Wish, running in 3rd placing there. So that's good form, and I also want to take you back 2 starts with Low Rider. This is race 346, he's in gate 10 blue colours, and this is a total mess. First, he blows the start badly. Hugh Bowman has no option but to settle down last, and now the pace on the heat map we see here is good and even for the first half of the race. Then from the 800 metres, the jockeys on the front runners realise they've gone too fast and need a rest. So they steady in front and they come back to Low Rider, who tacks onto the field. There's still a lot to do, but he's making his run inside the winner embraces in the black colours on the outside. But again, over the final stages, runs into traffic, and Bowman really knows the race is gone, close to the line, and sits up. So a 7th placing there, but full of merit. And since then, we've seen Low Rider go back to the races last week. And well, that was a replay I didn't really want to show you because he had a tongue tie applied first time and it completely backfired. He refused to race. He was throwing his head around the whole time, clearly resented the gear change and made a complete mess of that one too. So now the gear change comes off, no tongue tie on Sunday, but I think more significantly, Founds brings him back to the races 7 days later. Now this is something we've talked about before. Some trainers rarely, some never do this, but you can see here some trainers like to return to the races quickly to cash in on what is often a fitness edge. And on this table you see the top 10 trainers at this in the last decade, and I've highlighted the premier performers. Founds has had more winners on a quick backup than any other trainer and is well ahead of market expectations too. It should be noted Mark Newnham, who has Midori Giant also backing up in 7 days on Sunday in this race, is also one of the leaders. Now, of course, on Sunday we're dealing with an 1800 metre race, and my gut feeling was that perhaps the 7-day backup edge in longer races might be enhanced. But when we look at the figures, that's not the case. This table shows that over all horses it isn't more significant. In fact, the numbers are not as good. But it does also show that 2 of our 3 top backup trainers at all distances are still 2 of the top 3 over further, and Founds still one of the leading lights. So with all that on board, I think furthermore, Low Rider gets the best of the map. In his first Hong Kong start over 1400 metres, Low Rider had gate 2 and positioned just behind the leaders in the first 4. Since then, we've seen him blow the start and then ruin his chances last week by being unmanageable, both from wider gates, so he's got back in the field. On Sunday, he has gate 1. I think Brenton Avdulla will have him sitting close to the lead in a race where that looks a distinct advantage. There isn't an obvious leader, just a selection of runners who might lead, and I see a low pressure race where on pace will be king. So the tip from me in race 7, Low Rider. His winning factor, the backup. Now this horse hasn't had a smooth path to establishing any credentials for the Hong Kong Derby, but I think he gets another chance on Sunday. He's up to a more suitable distance. He's got an inside draw. He loses that tongue tie that he so resented last week. And the fact that his trainer specialises in bringing horses back to the races successfully 7 days later is certainly icing on the cake. The other race I'm taking a look at for Sunday's meeting is race 11, and our winning factor here, the tempo. Now this is 1600 metres, class 3, and a race I thought with not too many serious chances, but quite a competitive core group all the same. A Bundle Award is racing well and should appreciate 1600 metres. Excellence Value really caught the eye at his latest Hong Kong start. Another World chased home a very good one last start, and there will be fans too of New Future Folks and Beauty Viva, a potential improver. And that's probably your race in my opinion, but I'm particularly focused on 2 of those horses, Excellence Value and Another World. So Excellence Value, he came here with form over longer distances to Hong Kong, but his first start in a race he ran into a very slowly run 1400 metres, was never in the picture, but he improved greatly second time out. This is race 385 in gate 9, yellow and black colours, and Excellence Value not the best to begin, and it doesn't appear Luke Ferraris's intent was to be at all positive anyway. So he goes back to last in a pace that is just steady, so he had a bit to do when they get around to the home straight, still sitting several lengths behind the eventual winner, the Boombox, in those pink and white colours. Now the Boombox finishes strongly in pink and white, so we see plenty of him. We don't see an awful lot of Excellence Value until very late in the piece, and he finishes even better than the winner, flashing up into 4th. So that was some serious finishing speed from a horse who, when he was in Australia, did win up to 2,000 metres, and that was 1,200 metres that we saw there. So he's going to really appreciate the extra distance. I think Another World will appreciate a step up in distance too, though he was good winning twice in a row over 1,400 metres in class 4, and then put up this excellent second at his latest run. Race 397, gate 4, aqua and purple colours. Another World gets a small bump at the start, but I don't think it has much effect really, and I think Lyle Hewitson gets pretty much the position he wants, off the speed in an even pace, though the eventual winner, Packing Angel in the blue and white colours, steals an edge on him by getting in front of him, which does prove important at the business end of the race. Now, the pace picks up from the 800 metres. Another World travels well, but as they straighten, the job is to outrun Packing Angel by 2 lengths down the home straight, and that's just too much to do. But he does manage to beat the rest. Now that winner would probably be the favourite for the Hong Kong Derby if it was run next week, so there's certainly no shame in finishing second to him. And I think that the 1600 metres is certainly going to suit Another World now. But there is an angle to this race which is probably the most critical of all. On the map we have a real scarcity of speed. Now last time out, Ben Thompson on New Future Folks was clever enough to take up a very slow lead that nobody else wanted, and he scored easily. So he's likely to find himself in the same scenario here, albeit with more handicap weight, while Sky Heart has been right on the pace in both runs this season, including that same race with New Future Folks, where he ran second. They look the leaders again here, so expecting a race shape where it's a crawl through the first half and then a sprint home. Although not leaders, Bundle Award and Another World are stepping up to 1600 metres for the first time, and I suspect that their fresh legs will be enough to take positions following the leaders. And Beauty Viva has a patchy record at the jump, but did show some speed last start when he began well. All in all, the advantages look to be with those able to lay up on the speed. Now, Excellence Value gets blinkers for the first time in Hong Kong on Sunday, but he also wore those in Australia and still didn't have much of a record of possessing tactical speed. So I'm still thinking he's going to be giving a big start. So the tip from me in race 11, Another World. His winning factor, the tempo. I don't think there's a great deal between the three main chances. Bundle Award, he has the ability to sit up close to the lead, but he has a bit of weight to carry, whereas Excellence Value, he's lower down in the weights, but he's going to give away a start. And I think that leaves us with Another World. He's down in the weights and can race on the pace, and I think that's going to be his edge. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Sunday. We'll see you next time.